Hi, this is Zak Mir with the US Chartbreakers here at Zak's Traders Cafe for Wednesday, the 5th of June. Starting off with the S&P, which is holding above the old 5264 record level that we had at the end of March, beginning of April. And above that on an end-of-day close basis, looking for that blue resistance line projection to be hit. That one there from the end of August. That's pointing to 54.80, which we could see as soon as the end of next month. On the downside, not expecting anything now lower than 51.80, which is the floor on that rising channel from back in the autumn. Next up is the Nasdaq, and here it's also a game of old resistance becoming new support. Here the old resistance around 18,400, we actually probed down towards the 50-day line, 18,100, but actually had a rebound above that, which is, especially as given that it is rising, is a positive. And the longer we stay above 18,400, the greater the chance of a move to 19,700 as soon as the end of next month. Downside at the moment, seeing the worst case scenario, 17,700 on the floor of that channel from back in September. On to the stocks, and starting off with the situation which looks encouraging, a gap higher through the falling 50-day moving average there for an Exxon above that line, $5.30, let's call it, looking for a retest of the old resistance there from the end of March at $8 plus, hopefully by the end of this month. Another situation to keep an eye on at the moment is coming up next, and here you'll see Core Scientific gapping up within a rising trend channel that's been in place since basically the end of January. Top of the channel there, pointing to a target as high as $7.60, but looking for that later this month, or perhaps the way things are going even later this week. If you're a fan of the shares and looking for greater glory, then the upper parallel of that rising trend channel is actually pointing towards a rather big target there as high as $11, which could be seen by the end of next month. But obviously we've got to get up to the first target there first. In terms of the downside, probably the old resistance around the $5.50, $60 area now could become new support if we have to test to the downside. Another stock on the move is Digital Health, and here rising trend channel since August, top of the channel there, 28.70, which we've already hit during yesterday's intraday price action. The view at the moment is the longer we stay above the $18 area, the greater the chance of a retest of $28 plus by the end of this month. We've covered the next stock several times in the recent past, and Dogness continuing to recover. The first target hit around $12. The second target was around $17.70, which we're just shy of yesterday. We missed it by 20 cents, and looking for this market to now have another potential target on the upside, which would be the upper parallel of the second parallel, so to speak, $25 by the end of next month. Ideally, we stay above the $14 level, which was that spike in April in the meantime, in order to achieve that target. Moving along to Vittel Corporation, here we've got a rising trend channel that's been in place since back in November. Top of the channel there, $20.70. We're looking for that sometime this month, while we remain above recent support, $12.80. One of the best movers around has been logistics, and here you can see that we had our highest target there around $50, and obviously exceeded it by 10x, which is always very nice, even though obviously it doesn't happen very often. Still looking for the dust to settle, and hopefully it will settle for the shares towards the $120 area. At worst, it may already have bottomed out there, but towards 120 is the best guess at the moment as to where support might come in there. On to Laird Superfood, a stock we have covered before, and here you can see the shares fast approaching a near-term target, which is the top of that rising trend channel from July last year, $4.20. Looking for that over the next week or two, and then perhaps after that we can upgrade the shares to an upper parallel of that resistance line there as high as $6 for next month. But early days yet, and we'd like to see the shares remain on the right side of $3.20, which was the previous resistance area in March or so, March, April at least. Moving on to MicroAlgo, and here you can see there's been a basically a bolt from the blue turnaround, gap to the upside above a now rising 50-day moving average. See that channel there, which is based on yesterday's peak around $15. And with day close above $15, we could get up to $20.50. But obviously, in the meantime, probably want to hold resistance on the way down around the $9.30 to 50 area. Moving on to a stock which is not so familiar to us, it is Neogen, and here broadening triangle base, that's been in place since back in October. The top of the triangle and the top of the gap down that we had at the beginning of the year, around $19.30, that's our target by the end of this month, especially if we can remain above the last gap there in April, around $15, so above 15, looking for $19 plus on Neogen. On to another situation which hopefully will have some future momentum. Here we've got Alima Pharmaceuticals, top of the channel there as high as $18.20, and we're looking at that while we're above the latest support for the shares in the $12 zone. It's above $12.18 on Alima. We have looked at the next stock a few times before, Owlet, and here you can see that still trying to break that falling wedge that we've had. Want to see an end of day close through $4.40 to give us $4.80 hopefully by the end of this month. We don't want to see an end of day close back below $4 and the 50-day moving average. The last two are next, and first is TeraWulf, creeping along the bottom of that rising trend channel there from back in August. Top of the channel there heading for $3.60, which we're looking for by the end of next month, or even sooner, especially while we remain above the 50-day line at $2.20. Finishing off with Vast Renewables, and here another one of those spiky situations. Looks like a heart trace monitor since the beginning of the year, but the view is at least while we're above that 50-day line, $3.80 or so, we can have a retest of the top of that channel there, rising trend channel base, $7.80 by the end of this month. Obviously, ideally, there's no break or end of day close back below the floor of the price channel at $2.70. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.